Hello everyone, this is part 8 of What If Naruto was banished and becomes Master Swordsman, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
9 a.m., Sea Country. Naruto was preparing to leave his second home. His next destination was the Leaf Village, where his Yumi was. With a new blue long-sleeve shirt, with a white horizontal stripe across the chest, blue sweatpants and matching sandals, and the Heaven's Blade strapped to his back, Naruto was ready to go. He left his room and the compound. Naruto stepped outside of the compound to see that Raiho and Kaori were waiting for him. Raiho-sensei, Kaori-san, are you guys planning to see me off? Naruto asked the two. Yes. So, are you heading back to Konoha? Raiho gave Naruto a questioning look. Yeah, I promised that I would aid Konoha in this war. Plus, Yumi and her mother are there. Naruto informed them. When are you coming back this way, Naruto? Kaori asked. Well, I had planned on coming back in 3 days. I want you guys to meet Yumi. Naruto told Kaori. Everyone turned around when they heard a voice screaming his name. Naruto saw the little girl running from the compound in the direction. The girl arrived in front of Naruto. Naruto-ni-san, you're leaving already. Stay for another day. Naruto rubbed the little girl's head. Sorry, Yami-chan, but I have to go back to the Leaf. Don't worry, I will be back in 3 days and I plan to spend 2 weeks with everyone. Hayami's face brightened up. Really? Really? Besides, I want you to meet Yumi, I think you're going to like her. Naruto told the girl before him. I'm sure she is nice, I can't wait to meet her. A thought popped in Hayami's head. You're coming back in 3 days, right, Naruto-ni-san? He gave the girl a suspicious look. I said I was, why do you ask? She turned to her parents. If Ni-san is going to be back in 3 days, can I go with him? I had so much fun when we went to Wind Country and met Gaara-san, Temari-ni-chan, and the Clown Man. Raiho gave Naruto a weird look. Clown Man. Naruto laughed at the little girl's nickname for Kankuro. He looked at his sensei. She's talking about the Kazekage's brother. Kaori responded to her daughter, no honey. There are a lot of people who don't like your Ni-san out there, because of what he did to save you. I'm sure that if they could use you to get to your big brother, they would. Kaori watched her daughter get a sad look on her face. Hayami looked at her father hoping he would be the voice of reason, but he just shook his head. Your mother is right, Yami-chan. Besides, you have training to do. When I get back I expect you to show me what you can do. Naruto gave the girl a smile. She looked up and gave him a slight smile and a nod. She gave Naruto a hug. See you in 3 days, Ni-san. I'll see you then, Yami-chan. The girl broke the embrace. Raiho stepped forward. Well, Naruto, I think you should get going if you plan to make it to Konoha by sundown. Naruto, take care of the sword, okay. Hayami. The little girl looked up. Yes, father. Come, we have training to do. The little girl nodded. Her and her father proceeded to walk off, leaving Naruto behind with Kaori. Well, I guess this is goodbye for now. Be careful out there, Naruto. Kaori turned to walk away. Kaori-san, Raiho's wife stopped and turned to face him. Yes, Naruto. She asked. Did you mean what you said, you know, about me being your son? Naruto asked in a slightly nervous tone. She gave him a reassuring smile. Yes, every word of it. Raiho feels the same way too. You and Shinji are like the sons we never had. Naruto now knew for sure where he stood in their hearts. You guys are like the parents I never had. The only reason why it will take me 3 days is because I recently found out who my father was, and in his letter I was instructed to go to the Namika's house. So, you know who your parents are. That's good for you, Naruto. Who are they? She asked, already knowing the answer. The Yondaime is my father. Ironic, when you think about it, but it makes sense at the same time. My mother name was Uzumaki Kushina, that's all I know so far. Well, I'm glad you found out who your parents are, but it doesn't change our feelings toward you. We all see you as family here. So, go do what you must do and hurry back. If you don't, Hayami is going to bug me about why you're taking so long to come back. The lady said, causing Naruto to chuckle. Then I guess it's time to leave. Later Kaori Ka-san, Naruto Shunshin ed out of sight. Kaori looked at the spot where Naruto had stood for a minute. She then turned and headed back to the compound with a smile on her face. 10 minutes later, Naruto was at the docks. He paid for a ticket and boarded the boat 5 minutes later. The young man walked onto the charter boat. He recognized a few people from Sea Country on the boat. Some were probably going to Tea Country, while others were heading towards Fire Country. Naruto went to the center of the boat, put both of his forearms on the rail and leaned forward looking at the sea. Standing next to him was a man with his arms folded. The man next to him was dressed in a peasant's straw hat, a sky blue robe, a dark blue gi under the robe, and matching color sandals. His blue hair was touching his shoulders. The man spoke, "We have some dangerous times ahead of us, young man, don't you think?" Naruto responded while still focusing on the ocean, "You're right about that. Something big is going to happen." The older man nodded in agreement. He glanced at the weapon on Naruto's back. "That's a nice sword you got there, you must be some swordsman to wield that sword." Naruto pushed off of the rail and looked at the man with a smirk on his face. "I learned from the best, right Kaito-sensei?" The older man lifted his head showing his emerald color eyes. Kaito smiled at his former apprentice. "It's good to see you again, Fox." With a grin from ear to ear, Naruto responded, "Likewise, Kaito-sensei." Konoha, 9:30. Senzairu arrived at the training ground to find his squad waiting for him. He looked at his squad, who had angry looks on their face. "Sorry everyone, I had a few errands to run." "Okay, let's start the training." He pulled out one bell. "Whoever gets this bell from me will become a genin. The two who don't will go back to the academy." The girl, Akuru, spoke with slight shock in her voice. "What? You can't be serious, sensei." He gave the girl a serious look. "Do I look like I'm joking? This is the weeding out process. Whoever is fit to become a ninja will, those who are not will go back to the academy and wait for another chance to become a genin. It's 9:30, you guys have until noon. The test starts now." Everyone took off to hide. Senzairu was standing around. He already knew each of their locations. He sensed Meikinu, the dead last, moving towards the girl named Akuru. Meikinu didn't want to fail the test and he had a plan. When he landed next to Akuru, who was hiding in the bushes, he bent down and spoke to the girl on the ground. "Akuru-chan, let's work together." "Why would I want to work with you? I'm better off getting the bells by myself," she said to the boy. He decided to put his plan in action. "Let's be serious, we cannot take him separately. Maybe if we go together, we can take him." She thought about it for a second. He was right, they had no chance against their instructor. "Okay, let's say we get the bell, how do we decide who gets it?" "We can do rock, paper, scissor and the winner gets the bell," he said with excitement. "That's not a bad idea, dead last." Ranpu walked up to the two. He gave the boy a hateful look. "Who said I was including you? 3 is better than 2, idiot. Besides, Ranpu was the rookie of the year, so he can help in this plan." Akuru explained. Meikinu was mad, but he knew she was right. "Okay, let's decide now." Both nodded and they proceeded with the rock, paper, scissors. Meikinu slumped his shoulders. Akuru did so as well. Ranpu was smirking, for he was the winner. He looked at Meikinu. "So, what's the plan?" Meikinu began to tell them his plan. Senzairu was sitting in the tree above them, hidden by a genjutsu, happy that they figured out the test. Even if it's not intentional, it seems that they are on the right track. Let's see what they have planned. Senzairu pulled out Ika Ika Paradise, while his clone was left standing in the middle of the field. Meikinu finished telling his plan. He then went out to where the clone was and started to attack. Akuru, who knew a Doton Jutsu, decided to use it. Senzairu's feet sunk into the ground, caught off guard by this, and Ranpu took advantage, closing his tenketsus. Ranpu then grabbed the bell and said with a smirk, "Looks like the test is over, sensei." The Senzairu on the ground looked up at the boy with a smile. "Not quite," he then puffed out of existence. Everyone stared in shock. The bell in Ranpu's hand turned into a pebble. Akuru, who shook off her shock, yelled at Ranpu, "Ranpu-kun, activate your Byakugan to discover his location." The boy complied and his eyes widened. See his eyes widen, Meikinu asked, "What do you see?" "Kage bushins in various locations, it is impossible to tell which one is the real one." He laughed to himself at the situation before pulling out a kunai. Oh well, looks like we have to take out every one of them. Both of his teammates, feeding off of his confidence, nodded. The group jumped off, heading towards one of the clones. Senzaru was glad, so they're working together. It's sad that they won't get a bell, but at least they will pass. 2 hours and 30 minutes later. The members of Team 2 were panting. Akuru was sitting on one knee, Ranpu was standing on both legs but breathing hard, and Meikinu was laying flat on his back. When the alarm went off, Senzaru appeared in front of them. It seems you guys have failed to get a bell, so you know what that means. Meikinu sat up. It means we're going back to the academy, right sensei? Nonsense, you guys passed. Senzaru said, all the while smiling. This caused them to look at him confused. Ranpu spoke. Why? We didn't get a bell, so we failed. Why pass us? Yes, sensei, why pass us? Akuru added. Senzaru started to explain. You guys were placed in groups of 3, now why is that so? The truth is, you guys stand no chance against a Junin level ninja, not by yourselves anyway. However, the 3 of you guys together do. Meikinu didn't understand what his sensei was getting at. I still don't understand, sensei. Senzaru slapped his head, and to think, you were the reason the team passed. It's about teamwork. Why do you think I had only one bell to begin with? Ranpu spoke. I get it now. The true purpose of the test was to get us to work together. The reason you used the bell was to cause a dispute between us. Correct. Meikinu, unknowingly, got you guys to work together as a unit. When you guys worked together, you were able to grab the bell, right? Senzaru asked. Akuru whispered, off of a clone. It doesn't matter if it was a clone, you guys had great teamwork. Well, that is enough for today, you guys are free to go. Report to the bridge at 7 AM sharp for our first mission. Senzaru performed Shunshin no Jutsu, leaving the group behind. Everyone looked at each other. Meikinu was the first to break the silence. So, what do you guys want to do now? In the village, Tsunade was walking down the street with Yumi. Since her workload was light, she decided to get to know Yumi a little better. So, you and Naruto have been together for a year now. Yes, Hokage-sama, we have. Naruto is really a great guy. I'm glad that he found happiness. I wish it could have been in this village, but I guess it wasn't meant to be. Yumi heard the sadness in the Hokage's voice. Hokage-sama, I know why the village hates Naruto so much, but don't they know that he and the beast are not the same person? Tsunade answered, some may know that he is Naruto and others may think he is the beast reincarnated. However, everyone uses Naruto as a scapegoat, because they were powerless against the Kyuubi. When the beast was sealed inside of Naruto, he was doomed to live a hard life. Such is the fate of most Jinchuriki. Yumi looked off into the distance with a sad expression on her face. It must be painful to be hated all of your life for something out of your control. I assume it is. But, at least there are people like you who can overlook that type of thing. Without people like you, those who contain demons would become monsters. I'm just thankful that Naruto didn't become one. Tsunade stated to the girl. There was silence for a minute between the two until Tsunade spoke. So, how do you like Konoha? Yumi spoke. It's a nice village when people aren't looking down upon you based on who your fiancé is. This village would be perfect, minus the hate that I have received from the people, because of what they see Naruto as. Let's go grab a bite to eat. My favorite restaurant is at the end of this road. Sure, Hokage-sama, I am kind of hungry. The two ladies continued until they reached the restaurant. Fire Country, southern border. Kakashi and his group arrived an hour earlier than expected. The group set up camp and the patrol duties were given out in that hour span. Hanabi and Konohamaru were assigned the mornings, Tenten and Shizune in the afternoon, and Kakashi and Asuma during the night. Kakashi stated that the patrol wouldn't begin until tonight. Everyone was sitting around. Kakashi was lying in the tree with his book over his face. Asuma, Tenten, Hanabi, Konohamaru, and Shizune were sitting around the circle talking. Asuma looked at Konohamaru. So, what happened while you guys were out here? We ran into a group of missing nins and Senzaru took out the leader. From what I heard, he did it with ease. But, I wonder why the old lady is so suspicious. Konohamaru thought out loud. Tenten and Shizune both said in unison, don't call Tsunade-sama that. The two women looked at each other. Hanabi spoke, if Hokage-sama is suspicious, then there has to be a reason. If something is up, we will find out. The fact that a missing nin confronted a group of nins from a village not far away was foolish and a bit out of the norm. Tsunade-sama has a reason for being suspicious. Everyone was looking at Kakashi, who was still in the tree. He then placed the book over his face. Well, I'm going to get some rest since I have the late shift with Kakashi. Asuma got up and went to crash inside one of the tents. Tenten looked at him leave. She turned her eyes back to Shizune. Shizune-san, what you think about this situation? I think that we should keep our eyes open. If we don't, we're bound to miss something, and since we are still at war, we can't afford to miss anything. Shizune stated. Konohamaru got up. Hanabi wondered where he was going. Where are you off to, Konohamaru? I'm going to collect some firewood for tonight. It doesn't make sense to collect it at night time. The boy answered. Hanabi stood up. I'll go with you to make sure that you're not attacked. Tenten looked at the girl with an evil grin. Is that really your reason for going with him? Hanabi snapped at what she was trying to imply. Yes, would there be any other reason? Tenten's eyes moved to the upper right corner. She then looked back at the Hyuga. None that I can think of. You guys should get going now. I expect you back here in 20 minutes. If you have not returned by then, we will be coming to look for you. Shizune said, earning her a nod from both teens. Tenten tapped Shizune. She likes him so much that she doesn't even know it. Shizune put her hands to heart with a faraway look in her eyes. Young love, it is so sweet. Konohamaru and Hanabi were walking in the forest collecting wood. Konohamaru looked at the girl who was gathering wood next to him. Hanabi, who knew he was looking at her, was getting annoyed and decided to speak. Do you want something or what? Caught off guard, he stammered out, oh, it's nothing really. Since it's nothing, don't look at me like that. It makes me feel uncomfortable. Hanabi snapped at the Sarutobi. I'm sorry. Anyway, I think we have enough wood. Let's head back to the campsite. Hanabi followed the boy as he led the way back to the campsite. While walking behind him, she was in the midst of thinking, why does he always look at me like that, and why does it make me feel uncomfortable? It's just Konohamaru. I shouldn't be feeling nervous or uncomfortable by a look he gives. Okay, I'm not nervous or uncomfortable, nope, not at all. I'm just annoyed with the looks, that's it, just annoyed. But they are different from every other look that I get. Everyone looks at me with envy or hate, but when he looks at me it's as if he cares about me or something. But why would he? I'm rude to him and I'm always insulting him. Looking at the back of his head, a small smile graced her face. One thing is for certain, you are weird. The two teens continued their trek to the campsite in complete silence. Cloud Village. Hiyaka Aizu, the Raikage, was sitting at his desk looking at his strongest Junin, who was placed in charge of the 3 strongest genins in Cloud. The boy who was standing in the middle of the other 2 genins, who had black hair and ice blue eyes like himself, stared the Raikage straight in the eye. The Raikage returned the look and spoke, you all will be training for the Chunin exams that will be held in Konoha in 6 months. I expect at least one of you to get to the finals. That will be your mission. Train for 6 months and at least one of you get to the finals. The boy who favored the Raikage spoke, why must one of us advance to the finals? Is there a reason for this? Yes. Since you're the Genin squad that I am placing my faith in, I will let you in on the fact that we will be attacking the Leaf Village, with the aid of the Rock, the Rain, and the Mist Village. Your success guarantees me an invite to the finals. Does that answer your question, Rado? Yes, it does, father. The son of the Raikage said with a full understanding of his father's intentions. The Raikage spoke again, you guys are dismissed. Kuan, I want to speak to you for a moment. The group filed out of the room, leaving the Raikage and Kuan alone. Aizu asked, what's the word from our allies? Their soldiers should be arriving today. We will set sail tonight and arrive in Sea Country 2 nights from tonight. The Rain will lend us 100 soldiers, Rock, 200, Mist 150 of our own. Aizu leant back in his chair, tapping his fingers together. The information that Kuan had given him was most pleasing. Kuan didn't think that they needed that many nins. He would have voiced his opinion on it, but he knew the Raikage knew what he was doing, so he didn't question it. Aizu-sama, are you going to fight Raiho alone or will you require my aid? Kuan asked. Aizu narrowed his eyes at his Junin. Don't you ever insult me like that again. Did you forget your station, or do you think I am so weak now that you can match my power? Kuan didn't want his leader to misinterpret what he was trying to say. I didn't mean anything by it, sir. The reason I ask is because this is a mission and you said so yourself that we are to exterminate the Manashu clan. I want to know if you wanted to kill him as a way to honor his skill or to just kill him by any means. You should know better than anyone that I wouldn't disgrace someone of Ryo's skill by having him attacked by a bunch of nins. No, I will fight that man because I acknowledge his skill. The only thing that I want you to do is eliminate the other clan members any way you can. Raiho will not suffer the fate of the rest, he will die by my blade and my blade alone. Is that understood? Aizu said the last part in a tone that would have most nins pissing their pants. Kun, however, wasn't most nins. He bowed. Crystal clear, sir. If you will excuse me, I have to supervise the training of my squad. Very well, but before you go I want to say that I'm counting on you to get them ready for the Chunin exams. Aizu said to his top Junin. Don't worry, sir, I will not fail you. They all will be ready. Kun exited the office, leaving Aizu alone. The Raikage smiled, happy with the fact that his plans were coming to fruition. It was only a matter of time until he gets what he wants. Local restaurant in Konoha. Tsunade and Yumi were eating and discussing Naruto. Yumi, both women looked up when a bold-cut ninja, wearing a green leotard and Junin vest, accompanied by a pink-haired medic nin, interrupted their conversation. Tsunade-sama, how are you today? She looked at her pink-haired student. I am good, Sakura. Would you and Lee care to join us? Rock Lee spoke before Sakura could respond. It would be a pleasure to join our great Hokage and Yumi-san. Why don't you guys grab a seat? Tsunade suggested to the two leaf nins. Sakura sat next to Tsunade and Lee sat next to Yumi. Sakura, who was sitting diagonally across from Yumi, looked at the girl and smiled. Forgive me for being rude, I didn't introduce myself, I am Haruno Sakura, I know who you are. Yumi finished. Oh, I guess Naruto told you about me, huh? Sakura asked. Yes, he has. So you're a medic nin, it must be great to save lives and know you are able to help people feel better. Yumi stated to the pink-haired young lady before her. It's great to help people. Thanks to Tsunade-sama's train I'm able to help those in need. Sakura informed the girl. Yumi-san, I haven't seen Naruto-kun in a while, do you know when he will be back? Lee asked. Yumi shook her head, I have no clue when he is due to return. But he's with the Manashu clan and from what he tells me about the clan there is nothing to be worried about, they are like his second family. Tsunade leaned forward, did he tell you that? The brown-haired green-eyed girl responded, no, but you can tell the way he talks about them and how he lights up every time he talks about his little sister. You mean Hayami, am I right, Yumi-san? Sakura asked. Yes, Sakura-san, that is who I mean. Lee held his fist in the air, my youthful friend is spending time with his second family, that is great for him. My friend has never had a family and to find a surrogate family is wonderful. Yumi smiled at Lee's actions. After being around the guy for a week, his weirdness grew on her, it is wonderful, Lee. I can't wait to meet them. He said he was going to take me to meet them. You and Naruto are pretty serious, I see. Sakura stated. Yes, Naruto and I plan on getting married soon and start a family. I'm all for the former, but the latter is something that I wish to wait for. We are both too young to be thinking about kids in my opinion. Anyway, what about you, Sakura, anybody that you are seeing? You and Lee look pretty close. Lee spoke up before Sakura could. Sakura and I aren't dating Yumi-san. The one who beat me out for her heart was the Uchiha. Sakura noticed that boys in her graduating class and in Guy's team, almost always referred to Sasuke as the Uchiha. Lee-san, why do you always call Sasuke the Uchiha? Tsunade looked at her student then back at Rock Lee. She knew the reason why Lee, Shikamaru, Neji, Chuji, Shino, and Kiba referred to Sasuke as Uchiha. Each one of those boys was affected by the mission, whether it was a friend getting hurt or one of them getting hurt. Tsunade knew that Sakura didn't understand. To tell the truth, she and everyone who wasn't involved with that mission really didn't know what happened. They knew from stories, but stories and actually being there is completely different. Tsunade saw Lee stand up with a serious face, something that was rare for Rock Lee. Sakura-san, I understand you have feelings for Uchiha and I respect that, but what I refer to him as should not concern you. Lee, I just want to know why you and everyone else. Lee cut her off. Forgive me for my rudeness, Sakura-san, but I have training to do. Also, I value our friendship and I do not wish to say something that might be offensive to you. You ladies have a good day. Lee bowed then walked off. Sakura looked at Tsunade confused. Tsunade-sama, what do you think Lee meant by that? Sakura, you might not want to see it, but the mission to retrieve Sasuke has left them all bitter against Sasuke. The fact is they can't understand how someone as loyal as Naruto got banished while Sasuke, a traitor, and make no mistake Sakura, he is a traitor, is next in line to be Hokage. Sasuke may have redeemed himself, but they all hate the fact that he gets special treatment. I don't expect you to understand, but I would like you to see where they are coming from. Tsunade explained what she thought. Yumi broke the silence. Sasuke, he's the one Naruto fought at the Valley of the End and a while back, am I right? Sakura nodded, yes. Yumi looked at the cup in front her. Naruto once told me that he thought of Sasuke as a brother and as a best friend. He got angry when he discussed Sasuke. The way he described the battle between the two was intense. He told me he had a chance to bring Sasuke back, but that way would have killed Sasuke. Naruto held back his attack, so he tells me. Sakura was feeling even guiltier about blaming Naruto for not bringing Sasuke back. Looking up from the cup, she looked at Sakura. Naruto also told me about you too. He told me that he used to like you, but you always rejected him. I don't know what happened between you two, but he got angry when he told me about you. He basically got angry when he talked about Team 7 and Konoha. I really hope he will be able to try and make peace with the village. I think him coming here is the first step to that. Maybe, but who knows? Tsunade said with her hand under her chin. Yumi stood up. Tsunade gave her a curious look. Are you leaving, Yumi? I promised Ayami that I would visit her at the ramen stand. Don't worry, Tsunade-sama, I'm sure we will get to do this again. She turned to Sakura. Sakura-san, I would like to also get to know you better if that's okay. I would like that, Yumi. Sakura said, smiling at the girl. Well, I'm off. You ladies have a good day. Yumi walked off. Sakura turned to the Hokage. She seems nice. I can tell she cares for Naruto a lot. She really is a nice person. I'm glad that Naruto is with someone like her. Tsunade stood up, a motion for Sakura to follow. Come, Sakura, let's go to the hospital and do a few rounds. Okay, Tsunade-sama. Sakura got up and followed the village's strongest female ninja to the hospital. T-Country 4 hours later. The charter boat Naruto was on stopped at fishing village in T-Country. During the 4 hours, Naruto and Kaito caught up on each other's lives. The man known as the Golden Fox knew that it was time to part ways with his sensei. The boat would set sail for Fire Country in 10 minutes. Kaito and Naruto were on the docks saying their farewells. I guess this is where we part ways, Kaito-sensei. Where are you going now? I'm off to see our mutual friend. I should have taken the other way to her place, but I had to shake some hunter nins without causing a scene. Cutting through this country to get to her place is definitely the long way, but like I said, it couldn't be helped. Anyway, Fox, you take care of yourself. Something tells me that I will be seeing you soon. For some reason I believe you are right. Well, I guess I will see you later, sensei. Naruto extended his arm with his hand balled up in a fist. Kaito looked at the fist for a second, then did the same as Naruto until their fist made contact. Later, Fox. Kaito walked away from his student on his way to see Naya. The captain informed everyone that the boat would be leaving in a minute. Naruto boarded the boat once again. Seeing a lot of people on the deck, Naruto was hoping that his spot wasn't taken. Lucky for him, the spot was still free. Naruto went to the spot and looked at the sea as the boat glided across the water. In a couple of hours he would be at his intended destination. Back in the cloud, the ninjas that Aizu had asked for from his allies were in the village. He had them gathered inside of a building in the village. It was an auditorium that was suited to fit a large number such as the one before him. Standing at the podium, with Kun on his right and Karden on his left, he raised his hand to silence the group. You all know why you are here. You are here to aid in the destruction of the Manashu clan. I know a lot of you have issues with that clan, based on what transpired a year ago involving the head of the clan's daughter and a couple of your friends, family, and lovers. I know the person you all wish to go after is none other than Uzumaki Naruto. The group of rock and rain nins exploded at the mentioning of Naruto. Raiho raised his hands to silence them, however, he is under the protection of the leaf, so getting to him will be impossible. This is why I offer you the next best thing. If you can't kill him, destroy those he sees as family. We set sail later on tonight and we should arrive in Sea Country in 2 days. I know you all want to exact vengeance. I give you the opportunity to do so. I will say this, whoever wishes to leave and want no part of this then do so, but whoever lost someone to the Uzumaki Naruto and wish to exact revenge then your opportunity lies with me. Who's with me? The crowd let out a loud roar showing their allegiance. Aizu smiled, these fools didn't realize they were mere pawns in his plan. He really didn't care for Naruto, sure the guy was strong but he saw him as no threat, which is why he put Kuon in charge of the task of taking him on. Raiho was a different story altogether. His true purpose was to obtain Heaven's Blade. He didn't wish to use it, in fact he knew it was impossible for him to use it if the story about the blade were true. No, he just wanted to keep it in his possession away from others. Once Raiho was out of the way then he would use the Chunin exams to take down Senzairu. With those 2 threats out of the way, he could crush the leaf and its allies. Kuon leaned over to whisper in his ear, it seems like they ate it up. You are cruel Aizu-sama. It has nothing to do with being cruel, I offer them an opportunity and they are willing to take it. I just so happen to be getting what I want in the process. Aizu said while looking at the crowd. The Raikage eyes went to a ninja who walked down the aisle and up the stage toward him. The ninja whispered into his ear, Sir, we got word that Moritsu Kihuan and his followers are all dead. Scouts in the area discovered their bodies. Nothing is definite but one of our medic nins said after taking one look at their body they were dead for about a week. I want you to meet me in my office in 10 minutes. The nin nodded and headed off. Aizu turned his attention back to the crowd, my guest, we leave at 9 tonight. Please, enjoy all of the luxuries that my village has to offer. The restaurants and the bars will be free to all of you. You all are free to go, I hope you enjoy your time here in Cloud. Everyone started to get up and head for the exits. Aizu looked at Kumoko, Roba, and Daki. They knew that look meant he wanted to see them in his office. They followed him Kuon and Carden as they exited through an entrance on the side of the stage. 10 minutes later, everyone including the nin who had informed him of the news was sitting before him. So you're telling me Kihuan was killed? It must have been a skilled nin to kill him. Kuon was the next to speak. Well, it looks like we won't have backup if a few of the clan members slip our grasp and get into Fire Country. If any of us are caught by Leaf Nins, the Hokage will attack, defeating the ultimate goal. It doesn't matter, they were a fail-safe plan. I don't intend on letting anyone escape. Aizu stated to everyone in the room. The ninja who informed him of Kihuan's death looked at the Raikage. Sir, from the reports, he was killed with kunai embedded into the side of his neck. His death tells us that the Leaf has upped its border patrol. Have the scouts return to the village. I don't want my plan ruined before it moves to the last phase. Aizu ordered the nin. He bowed and exited the office. Kumoko spoke, Aizu-sama, what do you want us to do? Nothing, I want you 5 to get ready for tonight. Sir, speaking hypothetically, let's say if a few escape and head towards Fire Country, what do you want us to do? Eliminate them before they get within range of Fire Country. But that will be hard to do because they will have to get out of Sea Country and the only way is by water. Don't worry, nothing will go wrong. Aizu said, assuring Kadan. Fire Country. 2 hours later. Naruto was walking down the road towards the southern gate of Konoha. He could see the Hokage monuments from where he was. The blonde ninja walked for a good 10 minutes before reaching the gate. The guard stopped Naruto at the gate, name and reason for entering. Uzumaki Naruto and I'm hired help. Naruto said to the guards. The guards knew who he was and his reason for being there, but it was protocol. They let him pass and Naruto continued into the village. He still received glares from the older generation, but it really didn't matter because he was going to see Yumi. He was heading for the hotel when an Anbu squad appeared before him. Uzumaki Naruto, Hokage-sama requests your presences at the tower. I'm only in the village for 5 minutes and she knows I'm here. I'm impressed. Lead the way. Naruto and the Anbu squad disappeared out of sight only to reappear in the Hokage's office a minute later. Sitting at her desk, Tsunade dismissed the Anbu squad and offered Naruto a seat. He removed the sword from his back so he could sit down. He placed the sword on his lap. Tsunade looked at the sword then back at Naruto. I see you passed the trials, congratulations. Thanks. What do you want, Oba-chan? Naruto asked. I know you want to see Yumi, she's interesting and very nice young lady by the way. What she sees in an arrogant, overconfident, loud mouth like you is beyond me. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you that I want you to meet me at my house at 6 tomorrow morning. I will escort you personally to the Namika's house. I really wanted to know about your trials, but you seem bored. So go, I expect you to tell me what happened tomorrow. Tsunade said, motioning with her hands for him to leave. Naruto got and placed the sword on his back. He headed out of the office. Tsunade was grinning. Looks like Jiraiya will be giving me some money. The Hokage then got a serious look on her face. Something isn't right. Every time I win a bet it means danger is on the horizon or something bad is going to happen. I wonder what kind of bad thing is going to happen. She put her feet up on the desk and pondered on what was next to come. Yumi and Ayami was talking and laughing at jokes. Ayami was telling Yumi a joke which caused her to burst out in laughter. I swear, that is the funniest thing I have ever heard, Ayami. It was funny when I heard it. So have you got any plans for tomorrow? Yumi was about to say no, but a voice answered for her. Well, I had planned on spending time with her, but if she wants to hang with you instead, then I guess it's okay. Recognizing that voice, the girl turned around to be greeted by a smiling Naruto. Naruto-kun. She jumped out of her seat and gave him a tight hug. When she finished hugging him, she started to check him over to make sure he was okay. You're not hurt, are you? For the last couple of days you were in pain, weren't you? What happened that would cause you to feel that much pain? Naruto gave her a weird look. She could feel I was in pain. Naruto placed a hand on her cheek. A lot happened, but it's okay because I'm perfectly fine now. The pain that I went through was because the sword on my back. It's a special sword that requires harsh trials to get it. I will tell you more about everything tonight. Tell me what happened while I was away. Yumi didn't want to tell Naruto about what happened, so she lied. Nothing really. Ayami has been keeping me company. Yumi, you and Naruto get out of here. I will talk to you later. Ayami said to the couple. Naruto waved her off. I don't intend on leaving, not when I haven't had some of your ramen. So Ayami-nichan, if you will fix my favorite. Naruto took a seat. Yumi sat back in her seat. Ayami came back with a big bowl of ramen and placed in front of Naruto. I don't think this will be enough for you, but it is a start. Naruto began to drool as he looked at the bowl with noodles, chicken, eggs, and beef in it. Itadakimasu. Naruto consumed the contents of the bowl like there was no tomorrow. Yumi looked on in disgust while Ayami just laughed. It's sure good to have you back in this village. I haven't seen anyone pig out quite like you. Naruto picked up the bowl and tilted to his mouth to let the broth spill into his mouth. When he was finished with the broth, he sat the bowl down and let out a loud burp. Yumi wanted to lecture him on manners but decided against it. Instead, she was just happy that he was okay. Across town in a local bar, Anko, Yamato, Genma, and Senzairu were all sitting at a table having drinks. Anko was telling them in detail about her team and her test, which they believed was torture. I feel sorry for your squad, Anko, you are too cruel. A little pain never hurt anybody, besides they can't handle what I throw at them, how can they call themselves shinobi? Anko said to her senbon chewing friend. So Senzairu, what type of test did you give your squad? Genma asked. I gave them a bell test with 1 bell. Not as cruel as Anko's method of evaluation, but effective. So did they pass your test or what? Anko asked out of curiosity. The Hokage's son gave her a smirk that seemed to answer their question. Yes, they did. It seems that the one dubbed the Dead Last got them to work together as a team. Even though they showed that they work well together, the fact is that they need more training. I plan to make them wish they never were ninjas. Genma gave him sideways look. You're almost as cruel as Anko. Well, it's a good thing that my team failed. Now I don't have to worry about training snot-nosed brats. I think it is going to be fun to train the future generation. Yamato added. Maybe, but not that much talent in this graduating class, so you guys got your work cut out for you. Genma told Anko, Senzairu, and Yamato. Anko looked at the golden brown-eyed man known as the Hokage son, then at the man who was the only one in the village who could use wood jutsus. She turned to Genma with a smirk on her face. I love a good challenge. He sucked his teeth. You are a sadist at heart, aren't you, Anko? Anko put the index finger of her left hand on the bottom of her lip and gave Genma and Angelic, who little ol' me. I would never, I am the sweetest person in the world. I'm disappointed that you would say such a thing. Genma closed his eyes, reveal a slight smile. You are too much, Anko, you know that. Anko just gave him a wide grin. Genma noticed that Yugao walked in the bar dressed in civilian attire. He waved his hand to get her attention. Yugao, hey, come and join us. The purple-haired girl looked at her friend, signaling for her to come over. When she approached the table, she was greeted by everyone. Genma offered her a seat next to him and she kindly took it. How was your mission, Yugao? Yamato asked politely. Boring and uneventful, Yamato Teiku. She informed the former Anbu captain. Please, just call me Yamato, Yugao-san. I'm no longer a member of Anbu. She understood where he was coming from. She looked at Senzairu. Senzairu-san, how was your day? Good, I presume. Yes, it was pretty good. How about yours? He asked. She let out a sigh. Like I said to Yamato-san, it was boring and the mission was something that Chunin could have done. So what are you guys doing here? Celebrating. Anko answered. Really, why? Senzairu spoke. Well, Anko, Yamato, and I all have our own genin squad. Genma over here is celebrating with us because he is glad that his squad didn't pass. She stifled a laugh while looking at Genma. You're just being lazy again, Genma-san, aren't you? He looked away, no comment. Everyone at the table laughed at the Junin who wore his forehead protector backwards and covering his whole head. Senzairu looked at the clock on the far wall of the bar and noticed he had planned on meeting his mother soon. Well, looks like it's time for me to go. I have to head to the Hokage Tower. I will see you guys later. Yugao stood up at the same time. I guess we can walk together. I have to turn in my mission report. Okay. Well, everyone else, I will see you guys later. The two Junins exited the bar, leaving behind their friends, who continued talking about various things going on. Senzairu and Yugao continued to walk down the road that lead to the Hokage Tower. He looked at the women. So you're Anbu, what is it like? She turned her head to face him. The excitement on her face was visible when she started to speak. It's exciting at first, but it gets dull very fast. I like the missions that we as Anbu have to receive. If you don't mind me asking, where were you for the last 18 years? Senzairu looked off into the distance with a serious expression on his face. I'd rather not talk about it. He turned back to the young woman. The good thing is that I'm back home. He turned and looked at the Hokage monument and a small smile graced his lips. I missed this place during my time away. There is no place like home, Yugao-san. I'm really glad I'm back with my family, old friends, and new friends. The female blushed at his comment. Senzairu glanced up the street to see Naruto and Yumi walking towards him and Yugao. Senzairu strained to see the handle of the sword that was on Naruto's back. He was happy inside when he recognized the sword. I see you have done it. Naruto recognized the man, but the last time he saw him he was wearing a black cloak instead of a leaf shinobi uniform. I see a lot has happened while I was gone. So you were reinstated, I see. So where are you off to now, Naruto? He asked. Nowhere really, Yumi and I are just walking around, you know. What about you, are you on a date with her? Naruto pointed at Yugao. The two both looked away, blushing. The Anbu captain spoke up. No, Naruto, we are not on a date. We both have business with the Hokage, so we are merely walking to the tower together. Naruto looked at the purpled-haired female for a long minute. He recognized that voice and that hair color. She was feeling uncomfortable with his gaze. Is there something wrong? Yumi gave him a weird look. She knew something was on his mind. She would find out later. Naruto blinked, coming back to reality. No, there is nothing wrong. So I guess we will leave you guys to what you were doing. Naruto and Yumi walked off, leaving Senzairu behind with Yugao. Both were looking at the two walk off. Yugao wondered why he gave her a long look. She decided not to stress too much over it. She turned to see Senzairu still looking at Naruto. Are you ready to go? Yeah, let's go. The two headed to the Hokage Tower. Both thinking about what the blonde boy said. Are you two on a date? Senzairu was replaying what Naruto said. Why would he think we were on a date? People walk together all the time. Yugao thoughts were similar. Date. He is a nice guy, but can't two people just walk together and enjoy each other's company? Wait, did I think enjoy? No, that can't be right. No need to stress over this. He just asked if we were on a date, that is all. Nothing wrong with him asking that, right? The two looked at each other, then immediately looked away. About a half an hour later, Naruto and Yumi were sitting on top of the fourth's head looking at the sun go down. Sitting with her back against his chest, she leant her head back and rested it in the crook of his neck. Sunsets are always beautiful. This is a nice spot you picked. It's my favorite spot in this village. I used to come up here all of the time with Sandaime Hokage. Naruto informed the girl in his arms. Well, this is definitely one of the most tranquil place in the village. The trial was painful for you, wasn't it? She asked with concern in her voice. Yes, it was. I had to relive my worst experiences in life, and there were a lot. I also had to fight with limited movement, and I also had to fight my sensei with the fox telling me how inferior I am and that I need his power. Yumi placed her hand on his jaw. Well, I guess that demon doesn't know how strong you are. To tell you the truth, I was going to draw on his power, but I wanted to see what I could do. Using the Kyuubi's chakra is one thing, but becoming dependent on it is completely another. The test dealing with the Kyuubi and the test that limit my movement were great compared to the one where I experienced the horrible events of my childhood. She looked into his eyes. How did you get through it? Naruto began to explain. Well, the test was me confronting the darkness within me. My darker side was trying to consume me, I guess. But I realized that even though I am hated by many in this village, I have people who love me for me, that and is better than wanting revenge. Don't get me wrong, I hate how I was treated, but if gave into my darker side, then everyone I care about would suffer. You, Hayami, and everyone that I hold dear got me through that test. If it wasn't for you all, I would have failed. Yumi didn't respond. She continued to look off into the sunset while in Naruto's arms. Naruto leant in closer to her. Yumi, 3 days from now we are going to see country. I want you to meet Raiho-sensei, Kaori-Carson, and Hayami. I think that's great, Naruto. I can't wait to meet them. Especially Hayami. I can't wait to meet that cute little girl. Yumi said with excited about meeting the Manashu clan. She said the same thing. I can't wait to introduce you to the Kaori-Carson, Hayami, and Raiho-sensei. I know they are going to like you. Naruto said to his wife-to-be. I hope so, Naruto-kun. You don't have to hope so, I know so. Naruto and Yumi continued to watch the sunset over the horizon. Feeling happy, she for the fact that he was back and no longer in pain, and Naruto for the fact that she was in his arms and she would be meeting his family. As far as he was concerned, life couldn't get better. Cloud 1 hour and a half later. Aizu was standing on the high deck of the ship with Kun and Kumoko to his right, and Kadan, Daki, and Roba to his left. Standing before him on the huge ship was close to 500 nins. He looked from side to side. Shinobi and Kunoikis, I just want to say that it will be a pleasure to work with you all. I would also like you to meet the second in command, Kun. My third in command are the lovely Kaneki beside Kun, Kumoko, and the man on my right, Kadan. The two on the side of Kadan will be fourth in command. You will follow their orders unless I specify otherwise. Also, I want you all to discard your forehead protectors. I don't want any of our villages linked to this attack. I will say this to you all, have fun and leave no survivors. I mean none whatsoever. The Golden Fox will pay for what he has done to you all in blood. The crowd let out a loud cheer. Kumoko smiled at the crowd. She knew that they were mere pawns, helping towards the grander scheme of things. She took out a picture of the clan head's daughter that was received from Rain Intelligence during the time they abducted her. She looked at the little girl and gave an evil grin. To eliminate those many nins for you, he must hold you dear to his heart. I will enjoy handing him your head personally. She put the picture back in her pocket. A wicked smile graced her face. She would have her revenge soon. The man who killed her father will feel what she feels. He would feel the pain of losing someone. 11 a.m., Konoha. It was the morning of the second day. Naruto and Yumi would set sail later on that night and arrive in sea country around this time tomorrow. Well, actually, Naruto had decided that he and Yumi would leave in the afternoon. He thought it would be great to surprise everyone by arriving earlier than what they expected. Naruto smiled at the thought of seeing his adopted family, but his facial expression turned serious when he thought about what happened yesterday. Flashback Konoha, 8 a.m. yesterday. Naruto, Yumi, Mai, Jiraiya, and Tsunade were in front of a house that was located behind the Hokage monument. Tsunade looked at Naruto and handed him the key. I think you should do the honors. Naruto took the key and opened the door. When he stepped in the house, it was clear that no one had kept it clean. There was dust everywhere, revealing the 18 years of desertion. Naruto walked into the living room, which didn't really reveal much. Everyone followed Naruto as he walked through the house. He continued until he came to the kitchen. Nothing fancy, just a simple wooden dining table and everything else that a kitchen would have. The walls were white, or at least they used to be. They were now sickly beige. Naruto didn't dare open the refrigerator. Whatever was in there was probably alive by now. Jiraiya spoke. Naruto, I think we should head to your father's library. Naruto looked at Jiraiya. If you guys want to go, then be my guest, I want to look around a bit more. Jiraiya motioned for Yumi, Tsunade and Mai to follow him. Naruto was left alone to look around at what would have been his home had it not been for the fox. Naruto continued his trek upstairs, where he assumed the bedrooms to be located. Naruto noticed that there were 5 bedrooms. The room straight ahead was what he assumed to be his parents' room. He entered the room and it was by all accounts nice. But like the room downstairs, dust had collected. Naruto ignored the dust and sat down on the maroon-colored bed. He just studied the room for a moment, until his eyes landed on a mantle with pictures on it. He stood up and walked over to the mantle to see the pictures. He saw his father in a picture with a younger Kakashi, a boy, and a female. Must be his Genin squad, Naruto thought to himself. He continued to look at the other pictures. One had Tsunade and Jiraiya, another had him and the third. Naruto noticed a picture with Yondaime and a woman holding hands. Naruto picked up the picture. For the first time ever, he actually could put a face to his mother. I took that picture, you know. Naruto turned around to see Jiraiya. Naruto just continued to look at the picture. Jiraiya continued, I saw the two of them walking and holding hands and I thought it would be good. I think you should take it, I mean it's just going to collect dust here. Naruto looked at Jiraiya without saying a word. He turned his gaze back onto the picture, they look so happy here. I wonder how things would have been if they were alive. Naruto placed the picture back on the mantle and walked past Jiraiya out of the room. The Toad Sage looked back at the picture and smiled, thinking of the good old days. He then proceeded to follow behind Naruto. Naruto headed to the library. The letter that Kakashi had given him had told him to head there. When he arrived at the library, he found Mai looking through a book, while Tsunade and Yumi were looking around. Naruto walked up to the group, causing everyone to look at him. I must ask you all to leave. From here on out I have to do this on my own. Tsunade, Yumi, and Mai nodded, then proceeded to exit the library. Jiraiya, who was waiting by the door, looked at Naruto with a concerned gaze. Will you be okay, Naruto? He responded without even turning back to his sensei, yes, I will be fine. Give me about 20 minutes or so. Jiraiya closed the doors as he exited the room, leaving Naruto by himself. Once Jiraiya was gone, Naruto pulled out the note Kakashi gave him. The letter said to go to the ninjutsu scrolls section and in the center of the wall, between the bookshelves, I should do the hand signs for bird, dog, pig, snake, and monkey. Naruto arrived at the section he was informed to go to. He was now standing in front of a plain white wall. Naruto just shrugged and did the required hand seals. When he finished, he pressed his hands against the wall. When he did this, the wall transformed into a door with the shape of a kunai in the center. Recognizing that the kunai Kakashi had given him was some sort of key, Naruto pulled out the kunai and placed it inside of the hollow space. When he did, the seal on the kunai began to glow a bright red. In a matter of seconds, the door opened. Naruto stepped inside of the dark corridor. When he took a couple of more steps, the sound of the door behind him closing caused him to turn around. He wasn't worried, so he continued down the dark corridor toward the light-filled room. Naruto noticed that along the walls were lanterns. With a minor Kaiten jutsu, the hall was now lit. He could now see the brown stone walls that appeared black due to the lack of light. The young man continued until he came to a room that reminded him of a trophy room of some sorts. The floor was covered in red carpet and the walls were a pearl white. He noticed that the room had 2 bookshelves of what he assumed to be scrolls. The thing that caught his attention was the kunai on the wall and the scroll that was under it in a glass case. It didn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that the Hiraishin no Jutsu was in that scroll. Naruto walked over to the case. Okay, now for the hand seals that will unlock the case. Naruto performed the hand seals of the bird, rat, ox, and the tiger. When he finished, he placed his hand on the circular silver crest on the case. He heard a click that he believed to be the case unlocking. He was right. He lifted up the case and gently took out the scroll. Naruto opened the scroll to confirm that it was the jutsu. It was the Hiraishin all right. Naruto rolled up the scroll and placed it back in its case. I will come back for it later. I will try to learn the technique when I get back from seeing Raiho-sensei. I think it's best I look around more to see if I find any other scrolls. Naruto continued walking around in the room. He took scrolls of the shelves and glanced through them. Some of the techniques were interesting, others were of no interest. However, he came across a scroll that talked about the Rasengan. He read it intently. So that's why Ero-Sennin wanted me to try and combine my element and the Rasengan. I see Yondaime was in the process of trying to do this. Naruto rolled the scroll back up and placed it on the shelf. Naruto was finished looking around. He decided to exit the room and head back to the others. Yumi and the others were all gathered in the living area when Naruto came back. He looked at everyone. Let's go, I've seen all I need to see. Tsunade and Jiraiya looked at each other. The group followed Naruto out of the house. Yumi caught up to Naruto. So Naruto, where did you go? I went to look at the technique that my father wanted me to learn. Naruto answered. So you have seen the Hiraishin scroll. Where is it? Tsunade asked. I can't tell you. The fact is that Yondaime created the technique not only with the intention of it being deadly, but he intended to keep the technique in the family much like the Naris, Akamikas and the Yamanakas. The technique is safe. Oh, I almost forgot. Naruto threw the scroll in the air and burned it with a Gukakyu no Jutsu. Tsunade's brow elevated in curiosity. What was the purpose of burning the letter? Naruto turned his head to look Tsunade in the eye. I was instructed to do so. That scroll contained the secrets necessary to obtain the Hiraishin. Yondaime didn't want anyone but me to know where the technique was and how to get to it. Oh, well Naruto, you know you have access to that place anytime. Well, I have Hokage business to take care of. Naruto, I expect you to see me before you leave tomorrow. I want to talk to you in private. Tsunade said the blonde nin. End of flashback. Naruto, who was about to go speak with the Hokage, looked at Yumi who was packing their bags. I'm going to see Aba-chan. Since you're almost done packing, why don't you come along? We could grab breakfast after the meeting. Yumi stuffed the last bit of clothes in the suitcase. She then looked up at Naruto. I would, but I really don't want to wait around outside. Why don't I just meet you at Ichiraku when you're done? Naruto just shrugged. Okay, whatever. He turned to exit the room. He stopped at the door and turned back to Yumi. Did your mother change her mind or is she still going to stay here? She said she's staying. She said she had to help your perverted sensei out with something. Yumi informed him. They both thought simultaneously, probably to help with that perverted book of his. Well, I will meet you at Ichiraku. Naruto exited the room and headed to the Hokage Tower. Hokage Tower, 10 minutes later. Naruto was sitting directly across from Tsunade. She was studying him, which was making him uncomfortable. She finally spoke. The trials were difficult, I presume. More than you know. Is that the reason you called me here? Naruto asked. Yes, I want to know what happened. Tsunade told the boy. Naruto let out a sigh. He didn't really want to tell the story, but he decided to tell her. Look, I will give you the gist of it. First trial I had tested my will to fight. The next trial tested my faith in myself and my abilities. The QB kept on begging me to use his power, because when I'm in a pinch I usually draw the fox's powers. However, I refused his power. Really, there is nothing wrong with using the QB's power, it is a part of me, but I learned in that test I should rely and trust in my powers. The last test was hell for me. I basically relived all of the negative events in my life. The test was to test my heart. In a nutshell, the purpose was to see if I would give into anger and hatred. Obviously, I didn't, or else I wouldn't be standing here before you with the blade at my side. From what I can gather, the test was hard. Anyway, when you get back I will have a couple of missions lined up for you. Don't worry, it's nothing too hard and you won't be away from Yumi for many days. The council is on my ass about paying you a large sum and you only did 2 missions so far. I told them that you were training towards aiding us in the war in the coming 6 months. Well, I really have nothing else to say to you, so you are free to go. Naruto stood up and walked to the door. Naruto. Tsunade yelled slightly, causing the man revered in rain and rock to turn around. Have a safe trip, okay? Naruto was a little surprised by Tsunade's statement. He just nodded, thanks, hopefully I will. Later Aba-chan. Yumi was heading to Ichiraku when she heard a voice yell out her name. She turned around to see Ino, Chuji, and Shikamaru. Ino and the rest of Team 8 as they caught up to Yumi. Hey Yumi, where are you heading off to? I was going to meet Naruto at Ichiraku. Where were you guys heading? Yumi asked Ino. Well, we don't get to see each other much. So once a week, if we are not on a mission away from the village, we meet up and have a team lunch. Do you want to join us? The more the merrier, Ino said to the girl. I don't want to impose. Besides, I have to meet Naruto. Yumi stated. Chuji looked down the road to see Naruto heading towards them. Hey Naruto, over here. Chuji bellowed, causing everyone to in Naruto's direction. Naruto walked up to the group. Ino, Chuji, Shikamaru. Yumi, you ready? You guys are joining us today. I'm treating and I'm not taking no for answer. Besides, you skipped out on me when I was going to make you breakfast a week or so ago. You're not skipping out this time. Ino said in a loud, energetic voice. Shikamaru just shook his head. Does she have to always be loud? What did you say, Shikamaru? Ino said venomously. Shikamaru, realizing that he spoke out loud, shook his head. I didn't say anything, really, Ino. Oh, okay. Well, come on, let's go everyone. Ino grabbed Yumi's hand and pulled her along. Naruto looked at Chuji, then at Shikamaru. I almost feel sorry for you guys. Ino can be bitchy at times, but she wouldn't be Ino if she wasn't a loudmouth bitch. Shikamaru stated. Chuji nodded in agreement. Yep, that's our Ino. Well, let's join them, I am kind of hungry. What else is new? Shikamaru said under his breath. The three young men followed Yumi and Ino. Inside the restaurant, Naruto and everyone else were sitting at a table eating the barbecue on the grill. Yumi was sitting next to Naruto, while Ino, Chuji, and Shikamaru were sitting across from them. Ino looked at Naruto. Well Naruto, now that you're back, do you have a mission lined up? Naruto shook his head. No, Yumi and I are heading out at 4 this afternoon. We're going to be in sea country for 2 weeks. When I get back I will be doing missions and such. Ino looked away and mumbled, for someone getting paid 90 million you sure get a lot of vacation time. Did you say something, Ino-san? Yumi asked. Ino smiled at the girl. Oh, it's nothing, just saying how great this food is, that's all. Chuji stopped stuffing his face and looked at Naruto. Naruto, a while back you stormed away from Kakashi's house pissed with some weird kunai in your hand. Do you mind telling us why you were so pissed at Kakashi? Ino choked on her meat. She didn't expect Chuji to be so forward. Naruto, who was sipping on a glass of water, put it down and looked straight into Chuji's eyes. It's personal business that I don't wish to talk about. Ino, after collecting herself, spoke. Come on Naruto, tell us why. Yumi shook her head. Shikamaru placed his hand on Ino's and shook his head as well. Ino knew to leave it alone. Yumi looked at everyone who grew quiet and decided to change the subject. So Ino-san, how are the plants? They're wonderful. I actually have to work at the shop today. The girls continued their talk. Shikamaru spoke to Naruto in a low voice. The technique associated with that kunai, do you know it or will you learn it? Naruto shrugged. I don't know. Maybe. You are still an idiot, you do know that Naruto. Shikamaru said. And you are an over-analytical lazy ass. Why are you worried about me learning some jutsu? Naruto asked. I'm not. But, I do believe that it will benefit Konoha if you were to learn it. Anyway, do you know what type of mission Tsunade will stick you with once you return? Shikamaru questioned. No, she didn't say. It doesn't matter, the sooner this war is over the better. Naruto stood up. Yumi, come on, I want to make sure that we have everything before we leave. Yumi stood up. Well, I think we packed everything, but okay, let's go make sure. Ino-san, I will stop by the flower shop to see you when I get back. Shikamaru-san, Chuji-san, you be safe. Chuji spoke in between bites. Sui wu waiter Umi-chan. Yumi stifled a giggle, while Shikamaru shook his head in shame. The couple left the group to their devices and headed back to the hotel. Sea country, 4 hours later. It was 3 in the afternoon and Hayami was bored. She trained with her father this morning and had the rest of the day free. She tried to train with her older cousins, but they didn't want to because they said she would only get in their way. Her friends in the village were all busy doing stuff and didn't have time. Her mother was also busy. The girl, who was lying on her bed looking at her ceiling, was bored. What can I do? Naruto-ni-chan won't be here until tomorrow, but I want to do something today. There is the circus in town, maybe I can ask Ka-san or Oto-san to take me. The little girl got off of her bed and headed to her parents' room. When she entered her parents' room, her mother and her father were both on their way out, but they stopped short to avoid a collision. Kaori looked at Hayami. Hey sweetie, do you want something? The little girl, looking at her mother, spoke. Ka-san, there is a circus in town and I would love to go. It is so boring and I have nothing to do, could you take me? Kaori shook her head. Sorry honey, but your father and I have an important meeting to go to. You know how these clan meetings drag out, but how about tomorrow? The little girl had her head down. Her mother heard her mumble, okay. Raiho bent down to match his daughter's height. Don't be sad Yami-chan. We will take you tomorrow, okay. I wish I could take you, or if I could get someone. Shinji voice made everyone turn around to face him. Raiho-sama, you and Kaori-san have to hurry or we'll be late. Raiho gave a smile only Hayami could see. He then spoke so only she could hear. If you want to go today, I will see to it that you go. The girl face lit up. You mean it? Yes, of course. Raiho stood up and walked to Shinji. Change of plans. Shinji, you don't have to attend this meeting, I have something better for you to do. Shinji was ecstatic. Although he didn't show it on the outside, he was happy that he didn't have to sit through another boring clan meeting. Eager to know what he was going to do, he asked his uncle, so what is that you want me to do? Raiho placed a hand on his nephew's shoulder. I want you to take Hayami to the circus today. Shinji eye started to twitch. You want me to play babysitter? I'd rather go to the meeting. Raiho put his hands together and started pleading. Come on Shinji, do this favor for me. I would do it, but you know Kaori and I have to be at the meeting. Shinji shook his head. Raiho looked down to his left thinking how he could get Shinji to him this favor. An idea came to his head and he looked up at his nephew. Okay, if you take her I will give you. Raiho whipped out Jiraiya's latest book. The new Ica Paradise. Kaori eye was now twitching. She slapped him in the back of his head. You can't give him that book. To even think Shinji would be persuaded to do something because you would willingly give him Ica Paradise. You should be ashamed of bribing your nephew with that sort of material. Shinji thought to himself, damn, I was about to accept until Kaori-san opened her mouth. If I would have accepted that, it would have made me look like a pervert. Now I got to wait a week until the store gets the new shipments. Thanks a lot, Kaori-san. The second strongest member of the clan looked at his uncle and coolly responded, I will not be persuaded by such a book. Raiho thought of something else. Okay, anything you want as long as it's not extreme, I will get it, just name it. Shinji motioned for his uncle to come closer so he could whisper in his ear. While Shinji was whispering in his ear, Raiho's eyes went wide. He backed away from his nephew. No, anything but that. Come on Shinji, have a heart, those are collector's items. Please Shinji. Shinji spoke while sporting a victory smile. You love your daughter, right? Look at Hayami and tell me, can you turn down that face? Hayami looked at her father with puppy dog eyes. Raiho turned away from his daughter and closed his eyes. God damn it, not those damn eyes. The image of Hayami kept coming up in his head. He decided he wanted his daughter to be happy. He slumped his shoulders in defeat. All right Shinji, you win. Come by later on tonight or tomorrow and I will have them all ready. Shinji looked at Hayami. We'll go into town around 7 o'clock tonight and catch the 8 o'clock show, okay? The girl nodded vigorously with an ear-to-ear grin. Shinji waved goodbye to everyone as he left. Hayami skipped towards her room, happy that she was going to the circus in town. Kaori looked at her husband, who looked like he lost something special. Her curiosity got the best of her. So, what exactly did he ask for? The first 10 author-signed copies of our Ica Paradise series. Kaori eye was twitching. You're giving away the first volume of the series. Did you forget how hard it was for us to get that volume and have it signed by Jiraiya? I know, but those damn eyes of hers. I couldn't say no. Don't worry though, I will think of something to get it back from Shinji. He said, hoping that would reassure his wife. She just rolled her eyes and left him standing there. She spoke while walking, you better think of something or you will be resorting to that book to give you pleasure. Kaori knew she was wrong, but she was glad it was him and not her. Those damn eyes of hers are hard to refuse. I would have done the same thing too. Raiho caught up to his wife and the two walked toward the meeting in silence, thinking of the daughter and the first volume, from perhaps the greatest romance novelist on the planet. This just wasn't Raiho's day, not at all. Konoha, 3:30 p.m. Naruto and Yumi were all set to leave. With a backpack of clothes on both of their backs, they were ready to go. Standing outside of the hotel, with her mother and Jiraiya, the couple was saying their farewells. Mai-san, why won't you come with us? Naruto asked his mother-in-law. I told you already, Naruto. I will wait for you to get back. Besides, the bathhouses here in Konoha are the best. Don't worry about me, Jiraiya will be here. Yumi informed the couple with a smile. Naruto and Yumi simultaneously thought, that is what I'm afraid of. Naruto looked away from Mai and turned his attention towards Jiraiya. Ero-senin, I shouldn't have to say it, you already know. In any event, we will be back in about 2 weeks. Try not to get into trouble while I'm gone, okay Ero-senin? Jiraiya smiled at his pupil while scratching the back of his head. Come on Naruto, did you forget who you're talking to? Yumi gave Jiraiya a serious look. He knows exactly who he's talking to, which is why he said what he said. I would rather you not get my mother mixed up with you and your dealings, Ero-senin. Don't worry Yumi, I can take care of myself. I was doing it before you were born. I will see you guys in 2 weeks, okay? Enjoy your time away, you guys are young. When you give me grandkids you won't have the time to get away as much. Mai said the last part with a dreamy look in her eyes. Naruto and Yumi became pale at the thought of kids. Naruto grabbed Yumi's hand. Well Mai-san, we have to get going. I hope you have a good time, bye. Naruto and Yumi both hurried off. Mai looked at Jiraiya and started to laugh. I knew that would get him off my case. Every time I bring up grandkids those two run for the hills. Well since they are gone I think it's time we start on the Ica Paradise Volume 9. I have so many ideas. Let's go and get a few drinks and discuss them. I can't wait to hear your ideas, because I got some great ones too. This volume is going to be awesome. Jiraiya said with excitement. The two headed off to the local bar to discuss ideas about the new book. Naruto and Yumi were walking through the village heading towards the southern gate while talking about various things of little importance. After about 10 minutes of walking they reached the gate and walked through. When they were on the opposite side of the gate, Naruto changed the topic. Hey Yumi, about what your mother said earlier, is that something? Yumi smiled at Naruto and decided to fill in the words that he couldn't get out. Do I want kids and is it something that I think about? Yes and yes. But, I know that you and I are not ready to be parents right now. Naruto let out a sigh of relief. I'm so glad, because I'm not ready to be a parent yet. Anyway, now that's out of the way, Naruto placed his backpack in front of him. He then motioned for Yumi to get on his back. Walking will take forever, I want to get to the docks quickly. Yumi climbed up on his back. Naruto, try not to go too fast, you know how I get. Naruto took off before she could even finish her sentence. Moving through the trees at incredible speed, Yumi was literally turning blue as Naruto continued to move through the trees. I don't even know why I tried. Naruto turned his head slightly. You okay back there Yumi? After regaining her composure, but still feeling a little queasy, I'll manage. Naruto continued to move through the trees. With a not so well Yumi, I can't wait to get to Sea Country. This should be a good 2 weeks. Sea Country, 7:30 p.m. Shinji and Hayami were walking around in the town. They had 30 minutes to kill before the show started. Hayami and Shinji were walking through the street when the girl saw a toy stuffed fox. She looked at Shinji. Shinji, can I please have that doll? It's so cute. No, he simply said with no emotion. Hayami pouted. Why not? Because, taking you was the only part of the bargain. Anything else is extra, Shinji said to his little cousin. The girl turned her head. Pouting, she mumbled, Naruto-ni-san would have bought me the stuffed fox. But, I get stuck with mean ol' Shinji-ni. I heard that. I'm not Naruto and I'm not buying you that stuffed fox. So deal with it, Shinji said to the little girl. You're cruel Shinji-ni. So, what are we going to do for the next half an hour? The girl asked. I don't know. Maybe we should go wait in line. We'll be there before the crowd builds up and we will be able to get good seats. Shinji said, hoping that the girl would forget about the stuffed animal. Okay, but can I get some cotton candy? Shinji looked down at the girl at his side. Sure. He didn't want to take her to the circus, and the only reason he was doing it was because he was receiving a great reward. However, he didn't want to be mean. He saw how almost all of their other cousins, well, the ones close to her age and a little older, treated her. Okay, I will buy you some cotton candy. Geez, you eat too many sweets as it is. The girl didn't hear him. She was too busy jumping up and down, happy that she was going to get some candy. Shinji just shook his head at his cousin's antics. Hopeless, he looked at the girl, Hayami. Stopping her jumping, she looked at Shinji. Yes. If you would stop jumping, we could go and get you the candy while getting in line as well. From here the crowd is building. Shinji saw the big tent about 2 blocks away from the shopping center they were at. He was indeed right, the crowd was filing in. Ryo's nephew turned to his right to see a man walking around with cotton candy on a stick. He walked up to the man, with Hayami tagging along behind him. Going for the wallet inside of his blue GI, Shinji pulled it out and took out a couple yo and gave it to the man. The man handed the cotton candy to the girl and gave her a friendly smile that the girl returned. Shinji and Hayami headed towards the larger-than-normal tent where the line for the circus was forming. The girl was eating her cotton candy, oblivious to the world around her, while Shinji was taken in the scenery. Shinji looked at the line. He was aggravated that it got as long as it did. The things I do for family. This show better be worth it. Shinji thought as they headed towards the long line. Konoha borders. Kakashi and his squad were sitting around the campfire eating their meals. Shizune and Tenten had just finished up their afternoon patrols. Kakashi and Asuma would run their patrol from around 10 p.m. to about 5 a.m. that morning. Hanabi looked at Kakashi. Kakashi-sama, can I ask you a question? Please just call me Kakashi. When you add the honorific it makes me feel old. You can ask me question. Kakashi told the Hyuga sitting across from him. You are one of the top Junins in the village, probably the most widely respected and one of the most feared because of the Sharingan you possess. Father said that you use that eye better than most Uchihas did. I'm curious, Kakashi, how did you get the Sharingan and how can you use it? I thought a Kekkei Genkai could only be used by clan members. Shizune and Asuma both looked at each other, then at the copy ninja. There were a couple of things that those who know Kakashi knew were off limits to talk about. 1. The Sharingan in his left eye, and 2. Rin. Kakashi didn't talk about his teammate, but very few knew why, and last but not least 3. His father. Those who knew the history of the White Fang probably knew why this would be a sore subject for Kakashi. The silence was maddening. Everyone was waiting for Kakashi to respond. Well, you asked 3 questions. Which one do you want an answer to? Kakashi said in a nonchalant tone. I would like to know how you acquired the Sharingan. Hanabi's demand caused Tenten and Konohamaru to stare at Kakashi intently. In a somewhat sad tone, it was a gift. That's all I will say about that. Hanabi narrowed her eyes a little. She really wanted to know how he got the eye, but she knew that pressing the issue would get her nowhere. Okay, if you don't want to tell me, fine. I just want to know, is it true what they say about you knowing more than 1,000 jutsus? Maybe. I don't get caught in gossip. Hanabi was getting slightly mad at the fact that he was not answering her questions. He was going around them. She had one more question. Usually the top ninjas are in Anbu. Were you ever a part of Anbu, Kakashi? Kakashi placed a hand to his chin and started to slightly stroke it. He then looked at the girl. I'm too lazy for Anbu, don't you think? She laughed slightly at that. He was more than right about that. He was incredibly lazy. Anbu only took the top ninjas, and although he was a top ninja, he was probably too lazy to be a member. Asuma and Tenten, who were in Anbu at one time or another, just smiled at their fellow comrade. Tenten spoke to Hanabi. You know how secretive Anbu is, Hanabi. Do you think Kakashi-san would tell you if he was in Anbu? Probably not, but I could always find out from Neji. Hanabi stated. What do you mean you can find out from Neji? Konohamaru asked. Neji is a captain, you dolt. Being the daughter of the head of the Hyuga clan has its perks. I know everything that goes on in the clan. Hanabi said with a bit of pride. Shizune spoke. Well, being the Hokage's assistant and watching her work closely with Anbu, Neji cannot give out such information. Changing the subject, Did you guys enjoy the meal that I prepared? Asuma and Tenten both commented on how delicious the food was. Kakashi joined in the conversation, which left Hanabi and Konohamaru on the outside looking in. Konohamaru leaned over to whisper in her ear, "Hey Hanabi-chan, let's tag along with Kakashi and Asuma." The girl allowed her annoyance to show on her face. 1. Why are you near me? 2. Why would I want to do that? Why do you think they chose to patrol in the night? There has to be a reason, and I think that the reason has to do with there being ninja out there to fight. Konohamaru gave a devious smile when he saw the girl's eyes lit up with excitement. He knew he could get her to go if he kept picking away at her. Fighting an enemy could be exciting. I thought that the Hyugas were a clan of good fighters. I don't believe it. She snapped, we are a clan of great warriors. I will go to show the true power of my clan. Konohamaru put his arm around Hanabi and pulled her close. Yes, this is going to be so great, Nabi-chan. While her eyes were closed, her eyebrow started to twitch and a vein started to form on her forehead. Nabi-chan. Everyone turned around when they saw Konohamaru eating dirt. Judging by the bump on his head, it was safe to assume that the fuming Hanabi standing over him was the culprit. I can tolerate Hanabi-chan, but I draw the line with Nabi-chan. You got that? Kakashi turned to Asuma. I see your luck with women runs in the family, he said dryly. Don't associate me with that. The cigarette-addicted Junin said. Kakashi stood up. Well, in either case we have about 2.5 hours. I'm going to use that time to rest. Asuma got up as well. That's a great idea. I could also use the rest as well. The two Junins headed to separate tents that sat alongside one another. Tenten, who was twirling a kunai in her hand, spoke, I guess it's my night to watch over the campsite. Don't worry Tenten, I will stay up and to keep you company. Shizune said to the girl sitting next to her. There is no need for that Shizune-san. Tenten said to her idol student. I insist, Tenten nodded. Although she didn't want Shizune to stay up for her, she was glad that she wouldn't be up alone. Watching the camp area while everyone was asleep or patrolling the nearby area was about as boring as looking at a rock. 8 p.m. on a boat somewhere at sea. Naruto and Yumi were looking off into the vast sea. The mixture of purple and orange in the sky made the sea sparkle as if diamonds were scattered across the water. It was a beautiful sight to behold. Naruto, how long will it take us to get there? Naruto, who was standing on the side of Yumi, responded, we will arrive in about 3 hours or so from now. Everyone will be asleep, well maybe not Shinji and Raiho-sensei, but I'm pretty sure everyone else will be asleep. Is it okay to wake them? I mean, shouldn't we have just waited and came around 8 in the morning tomorrow? The girl questioned. Well, we could have done that, but I wanted to surprise Hayami when she woke up. Also, I want to talk to Raiho-sensei. The scroll he gave me the night before I left, well I just have a question that only he can answer. Yumi nodded, satisfied with the answer that Naruto had given her. The girl turned her head from Naruto and back to the sea. Naruto moved his hand to the center of his chest and unbuckled the sword belt, which held the sword in the scabbard diagonally across his back. Naruto held the sword in his hand, inspecting it. Yumi took her eyes off of the sea and turned to see Naruto studying the sword with his eyes. Naruto, oblivious to her gaze, continued to study the sword. This sword is said to be the strongest sword in existence. I don't know what it's fully capable of, and although I went through difficult trials to obtain it, I have doubts about its power. I don't know why I have these doubts, but maybe it's because I have yet to use it in combat to see what it's truly capable of. Raiho-sensei said when and if the time came, I would find the sword's ultimate technique. He said that when and if the time came, I would bring forth the power of. Yumi placed a hand on his shoulder, snapping him out of his daze. Naruto, are you all right? Naruto looked up from the sword into the worried eyes of the young woman before him. Yes, I am fine. Just thinking about something, that's all. He gave her a reassuring smile, which the girl returned, but she was still worried about Naruto. She looked at him, then at the sword. Whatever he was thinking about, it definitely had something to do with the sword. The couple turned back to the look at the sea. Naruto looked up at the sky, then back at the sword that he held in his right hand. He didn't know if he would be able to ever use the sword's ultimate technique, but he did know that he would try. Sea Country, 9:30 p.m. Raiho and Kaori were in their room relaxing in bed. After a long day of clan meetings, they were finally able to rest. Raiho turned on his side to look at his wife. Do you know how beautiful you are? Yes, she said in a cocky manner. Raiho turned away from her with a pouty face. You are so cocky, I don't even know what to do with you sometimes. She placed her hand on his arm and turned him around to face her. Yes, you do. Look, Hayami will probably be back in another 20 minutes or so. I think you can find something to do with me during that time. I'm sure I can. When Raiho went to kiss Kaori, a big explosion that shook the compound caused them to stop. Raiho turned his head to his door. The door blew open and flurry of shuriken came towards them. Using their instincts, the two jumped out of the way while the shuriken embedded themselves in the headboard. Raiho grabbed the sword that was always next to his bed. Kaori did the same. 7 people dressed in black stormed into their room. They were taken down quickly. 3 members from the Manashu clan came to Raiho's aid. The brown-haired clan member spoke in an alarmed voice. Raiho-sama, we are under attack. You need to get out of here and to safety. Raiho, who walked over to his closet to retrieve his and Kaori's fighting outfits, he spoke in a calm voice, cover us while we get dressed. Kaori spoke with concern in her voice, how are the children? Some were injured in the explosion in the left wing, while others, he put his head down causing Raiho and Kaori to slight widen their eye in disbelief. Kaori spoke again out of concern, what about your sister Ruko? Is she? She's dead, Ruko said bluntly. He continued to speak, I found her with kunai in her chest. I'm sorry Ruko, really I am. Kaori said sympathizing with the boy before her. It's okay Kaori-san, I will do my best to protect those that are alive. I will honor Leah's memory by protecting the family that she loved so much. Raiho knew how it felt to lose a sibling, but as much as he sympathized with Ruko, he knew he needed the boy to do this task for him. Ruko, I want you to head into town and tell Shinji not to return here. Tell him to get Hayami to Konoha. She will be safe there. If you can get any of the other children to safety, please do so. They are the future of this clan and I don't want to see them or anyone die. Ruko, I want you to go with Shinji as well. The young man around Naruto's age began to protest. Raiho-sama, I can't leave while everyone is fighting. I have to protect. Please Ruko, just do what your leader asks of you. Raiho said, hoping the boy would just listen. He bowed, yes Raiho-sama. Come guys, I'm going to need you to cover me so I can get off of this mountain undetected. Then other 2 men with him nodded and headed out. Raiho and Kaori slipped into their battle wear in under a minute. Raiho was now wearing a black Keiko gi, with a gold shirt under it and white robe over the Keiko gi. He also had on black hakama, a gold waist sash, and sandals with black tabi. Kaori's outfit was practically the same, minus the robe and the black tabi. Raiho walked over to his wife and placed his hand under her chin, saying, I want you to be careful, okay? Don't try to do anything crazy Kaori, I mean it. Knowing how concerned her husband was, she gave him a passionate kiss. Don't worry about me. You have a job to do just as I do. Let's protect our family. Raiho smiled at his wife. Then, both of them blurred out of the room. After 10 minutes or so of helping members on the inside of the compound, Raiho was now outside of the compound, which from what he could see was burning on the left wing. As he continued to walk outside, he saw a man dressed in black tunic, matching pants and sandals. There were 5 other people by his side, dressed in the same outfit. He also noticed that the man had a black blade at his side. Raiho recognized the blade. So, you have come for me, Raikage Dono. Raiho said. It is an honor to finally meet you, Raiho-san. I don't know how you know me, I can only assume that you met Senzairu. But, to answer your question, I didn't come for you. I came for something in your possession. If you give it to me, then I will stop this onslaught and be on my way, but if you refuse, well you're a smart man, you know what will happen. The Raikage said to the head of the Manashu clan. 4 members from the clan landed next to Raiho. The taller one spoke, Raiho, Ruko is off of the mountain and should have informed Shinji of what is transpiring about 10 minutes ago. Hayami will be taken to safety. We offer our aid to you Raiho-sama. Each of the men pulled out their swords. Kumoko heard what the man said. You mean to tell me that the little bitch isn't here? Before anyone could react, Kumoko vanished. The taller samurai went after her, I won't let you. He stopped midway but not of his own accord, it was because Kadan placed a kunai in his chest. He pulled it out causing the man to fall over dead. The other 3 who watched their friend die were enraged. The samurai went to attack, then they froze in their tracks when they heard, "Stop. Don't worry about getting to Hayami, she's with Shinji, so she is safe. I want you to protect the kids that are here. Go." The men did what Raiho said and headed back to the compound. Aizu, giving Raiho an evil smirk, spoke up, "Daki, Roba, I want you to follow Kumoko. Make sure that the girl dies and kill this Shinji person as well. Kadan, kill all of the women and children. I'm sure the others are doing that already, but if you would, please assist them so the process could move along a little faster." Raiho laughed, causing the Raikage to narrow his eyes. "What's so funny? You sent them to their deaths. The man with my daughter is more than capable of taking them on." Raiho's thoughts, however, contradicted what he said. That might be true, however he has Hayami, which is a liability. If Shinji were by himself, then I know he would be able to take care of himself. Please Shinji, protect your cousin. Kuin's ears perked up at hearing that someone that strong would be here. He thought that Raiho was the only worthwhile opponent here, and since Raiho was reserved for his master, he didn't expect to really do anything here. Kuin turned around and looked into the town. Forget it. They probably can deal with this guy. He has a kid whose skill level is probably not enough to deal with anyone. She is a liability to him, thus there is no reason to get involved. Kuin sat on a rock that was about 10 feet away, observing the two men before him. This fight should be interesting to say the least. The moon in the sky was full, the wind was blowing, and the left wing of the compound was burning in the background. The two swordsmen stood in the grass, as the wind caused the grass and the garments to sway. Raiho placed his hand on his sword, Aizu did the same. Slipping into a fighting stance, the two men just studied the other stance. It's been a long time since I had a good battle, Raikage Dono. Likewise, but please call me Aizu. I want you to know the name of your killer. The Raikage gripped his blade even tighter. Oh, but how do you know that I will be the one that dies here? Raiho asked the man before him while gripping his sword. Call it a hunch. Once I kill you, I will take that blade of yours. I thought you wanted Heaven's blade, but if you came for this sword, then I would be more than glad to give it to you. Raiho said in a sarcastic tone. Aizu's eye focused on the sword. His eyes narrowed when he didn't see the blade. Where is the blade, Raiho? Just like my daughter, the blade is in capable hands. The smirk Raiho gave drove the Raikage crazy on the inside. Raiho continued, the blade has a new successor. You came to the wrong place looking for the blade, but don't worry, if you survive this you will see it in action soon enough. Who has the blade? Aizu asked. Why does it matter? I said that it was safe. You shouldn't be worrying about the blade. You should be worrying about me. Raiho phased out of sight and appeared behind the Raikage. Swinging his sword at the man's neck, Aizu quickly blocked the sword. Both men jumped back, sliding into a fighting stance. Aizu laughed, you think that I'm some ranked amateur. Either way, I know who has the blade, and Uzumaki Naruto doesn't have enough time to master the blade, which is why he will never be able to use it to its full potential, since he has not trained with it for long. He will be dealt with in due time, you on the other hand will be dealt with now. Both men of immense power charged at each other. When their swords clashed, a bright light engulfed the area. After it died down 2 minutes later, Raiho and Aizu were standing on opposite sides of each other. Both men were completely unfazed by the power they released. Aizu now had an idea as to why Raiho was considered the best in the business when it came to handling a sword. This is going to be more fun than I thought. Slipping into a fighting stance, the two men charged at one another again. Kuin, on the other hand, stood up and looked off of the mountain towards the town below. Maybe I should follow, just in case. Within a blink of an eye, the blue-haired shinobi from the cloud was gone. 10 minutes later, on a ship heading towards Fire Country, Shinji was pacing back and forth. He could not believe what was happening. His family was being attacked and he was ordered to run. He knew his uncle didn't think of him as cowardly, he was doing what he thought was best. He thought back to 10 minutes ago when he was informed by Rukou. Flashback. Shinji and Hayami had just left the circus. Seeing that she was tired, he offered to carry her on his back. The girl spoke, Shinji-ni, was that not a good show? I think we should go again tomorrow, don't you? Shinji mumbled to himself, your father doesn't have enough books to get me back here. Did you say something, Shinji-ni? The girl asked. No, he responded. After walking for about a minute, Shinji could see Rukou running towards him with various cuts and scrapes on him. Ruko grabbed Shinji's shirt with both his hands. Shinji, you have to take her to safety. Our clan is being attacked by some unknown group. I was informed to get the other children away, but, it just wasn't possible. It took everything just to get me to you. Shinji put Hayami down. Our clan is being attacked and you want me to run. Yes, Shinji. You have to get her away from here. My little sister was murdered and if you go to aid us she will be too. This order came strictly from Raiho-sama. He wants you to take her to Konoha. Hayami heard her dad's name, father. Ruko pleaded with Shinji, please, I don't want to see someone close to my sister's age suffer the same fate. Protect her. Shinji didn't want to do it. He thought he would be much more useful here, but he decided that it was the right course of action. Okay, but make sure you get any kids you find alive to a safe location. Honor your sister's memory by protecting them. It pains me to leave, but you know as well as I do that it is a possibility, right? Ruko closed his eyes. Yes, that's why it would be better if she was to survive. Get her out here, Shinji. Shinji grabbed his shoulder, causing the boy to turn around. You take care of yourself and don't die. Show them the true power of our clan. He smiled at Shinji. I will, my friend. You take care of yourself and Hayami. Hayami, don't worry you pretty little head, okay. The girl nodded, but she couldn't help but worry. Ruko headed back in the direction he came, until he was out of sight. Shinji wasted no time. He scooped her in his arm and headed to where the ships would be. End of flashback. He looked over to see his cousin sitting against the wall with her knees in her chest. She looked up at Shinji. Shinji, is everyone going to be okay? Will mom and dad be okay? I don't know. I wish I could give you an answer, but I just don't know. Shinji answered honestly, but this caused the girl to put her head down more. I hope everyone will be okay. I don't want anyone to die, Shinji, especially mom and dad. Tears started falling from the girl's eyes. Shinji didn't know what to do. The fact is that they were probably the last surviving members of the clan. Shinji didn't want to think like that, but he was a practical person. He walked over and sat next to the girl. She started to sob uncontrollably into his shirt. Looking in the night sky, Raiho-oji, you and Kaori-san better not die. Not for my sake, but for hers. On a ship 10 minutes away. Kumoko was beyond angry. She thought she would kill the girl and send her head to the leaf and that would be it. She didn't know she was going to have to play cat and mouse. It was so annoying to her. Pacing back and forth to bid the time, she couldn't help but to get even angrier. Daki, who was sitting watching her pace, spoke, you should calm down, Kumoko. We will catch up to them in due time. She cut her eyes at the man who made that comment, calm down. When I have that little bitch's head, then I will calm down. First I'm told to not go after Naruto, then when I go after someone close to him I can't get that person. It's frustrating, I tell you. I'm going to kill that little girl and the one she is traveling with. I will not be satisfied until they are dead. Roba shook his head. You are so hot-tempered, Kumoko-san. It is like Daki said, we will catch up to them. I don't want to hear that. If they get within Konoha's borders before we catch them, then we aren't going to kill them. We have to catch them in T country. So you assholes better keep up once we get off of this piece of shit boat, because I will not be slowing down for any of you. The two men nodded in understanding. Kumoko turned away from them and looked at the sea with an angry look. You are going to die tonight, little girl, that much is certain. Manashu compound, 1 hour later. Raiho and Aizu were testing each other. Every attack was to learn something about the other. Raiho had yet to show off any clan techniques and Aizu had yet to show off any of his wicked wind techniques. Raiho, in his fighting stance, was ready to continue. Aizu was as well. The two men charged at one another again. This time Aizu swung his sword and Raiho blocked with his sword. Aizu flipped over the head of the Manashu clan and landed behind him. As soon as his foot touched the ground, he propelled himself into the air. Aizu whispered to himself, Wind Splitter. He then swung the sword in his right hand in a slashing motion starting from his left shoulder to the right side of his body, causing a blade of wind to fly at Raiho. Seeing that a blade of wind was heading his way, Raiho had no choice but to counter with a justo of his own. Raiho raised the sword slightly above eye level, aiming it at the wind blade coming at him and whispered, Sky Slash. The tip of the sword began to glow, then in an instant, an energy blast shaped as the triangle tip of the sword shot itself at the wind, cutting through it on impact. With the wind blade split, the split blades made impact on both sides of Raiho, causing the ground on both sides to break up. Aizu, who was still in the air, moved slightly to his left to avoid the incoming blast. He then landed back on the ground a couple of feet away from the man with the midnight-colored hair and eyes. The Raikage gave a sickening smile. Raiho adjusted his sword to point at Aizu. That was a nice attack, Aizu, but you won't do anything to me using weak attacks such as that. I know the Wicked Wind has more techniques than that. Don't worry about me, I'm just seeing how good you really are, and I must say that I'm impressed at what I'm seeing thus far. Aizu brought the sword he held at his side in front of him, slipping into a fighting stance. Raiho slipped into a defensive fighting stance and raised the sword above his head. Moving at blinding speed again, both men found themselves stopping in the middle of the field for the same reason. They both had the tip of each other's blade at their throat. Blood slowly fell down the left side of Raiho's neck from a slash on that side. Aizu smiled at what he did, but his smile quickly turned to a shocked expression when he realized that blood was coming down the right side of his neck from a slash the Raiho had caused. Both men just stood there looking into each other's eyes, showing no fear of the other. Raiho broke the silence. You know I could kill you right now. Aizu decided to reply, yes, but I can kill you as well, ending this battle in a complete draw, which I'm sure that neither of us want. Our warrior pride won't allow it. I suppose you are right. It's clear that this is a battle to the death. Plus, I have no intentions on letting you leave here after what you and your group of ninjas have done to my clan members. Raiho stated the last part with slight anger in his voice. I guess not, but I told you before, that there is no way I can die here. Slowly, very, very slowly, the two men removed their sword from the neck of the other. They jumped back to create space between them. Aizu slipped into an offensive stance, while Raiho slipped back into a defensive stance. Raiho spoke once more, always taking an offensive style. The Wicked Wind is nothing more than a style that is used to cause destruction and chaos. Aizu responded in calm and intellectual tone, it is destruction and chaos that keeps the world interesting, don't you think? Without destruction and chaos, we would know nothing of pain and we would have nothing to fear. It is these things that keep society turning. A person who is so used to peace such as you would never understand a man like me. It's not like I care if you do, we all have our goals. In order for me to achieve my goals I have to go through a wall to get to the other side, that wall just happens to be you. Raiho shook his head at the man. He had heard something along these lines before. You sound just like Kagai Dansei. The speech might be a little different, but the motives are the same. Aizu smiled and decided to inform Raiho of the fact that Dansei-sensei was the man who trained me. Formerly known as Manashu Dansei, he defected from the clan because he did not agree with the teachings. When he left the clan after killing Manashu Shinshiro, who was said to be the strongest and the most gifted Manashu ever to be born, he adopted the alias Kagai. I heard that you killed him about 16 years ago. I commend you for doing me a favor, had you not done it I would have. But I want to ask you a question. Him killing your brother, the destruction of a loved one, did that not cause you to train towards a goal? Raiho narrowed his eyes and didn't answer the question, causing Aizu's smile to grow wider, as I thought. Can't you see that chaos and destruction keeps the world going? Had Dansei not killed your brother 25 years ago, would you be at the level that you are at now? Yes, I would. My brother's death did force me to train towards a goal, but it wasn't vengeance. It was to make sure that what happened to him didn't happen to anyone else that I cared about. It is true that my brother was a genius and a great warrior, and at one point in my life I did want vengeance for his death. He didn't die a warrior's death, he was killed in his sleep by his best friend, or the person he thought was his best friend. I would tell myself that vengeance was justice, but I knew deep down it wasn't. It wasn't until 23 years ago that I had to face the fact that vengeance and justice were not the same. Knowing the difference between the two, I found a new goal. Raiho informed the Raikage of what made him into the person that he saw before him. Aizu gave him a look of disgust. You peace-loving freaks are pathetic. Always going on how protecting your loved ones makes you stronger. Strength comes from the power you have or have obtained, it doesn't come from caring for loved ones. That is a reason that the weak used to propel themselves to new heights. In order to become strong, you must cast aside silly emotions such as love if you wish to truly become strong. That is why the wicked wind will always be superior to the pathetic divine wrath and the heavenly sword styles. Say what you will, I will show you firsthand the strength that you can gain from protecting those you care about. Raiho's chakra flared up, covering his whole body. Aizu saw that Raiho was finally getting serious, so he followed suit and powered up as well. The two men charged at one another again, this time breaking the ground beneath their feet as they inched closer. When they got within striking distance, they swung their swords, causing them to slam into each other with extreme force. An explosion, caused by the strike, blew them back slightly. They landed, then jumped back to engage each other. Swing after swing and block after block, neither was gaining ground. Aizu brought his sword over his head and came down with a fierce strike that Raiho avoided by jumping to his left. The ground that was struck by Dragon's Fang broke into large pieces. When Raiho landed, he was shocked to find that Aizu had appeared right behind him. Shit, his speed increased. Sensing that he was in danger of being struck by the sword, Raiho used all of the speed that he could muster up and avoided being cut in half from the waist. When Raiho moved about 10 feet to Aizu's right, he saw that there were 3 black flaming vapor trails where Aizu had slashed, which looked like a claw had slashed the area. With Dragon's Claw extended to the right, Aizu spoke without even looking at Raiho. You are the first person who actually dodged slashing Dragon's Claw, you should be commended. However, Aizu appeared behind Raiho again. He thrust his sword forward, but Raiho was ready this time and blocked with his blade. Looking into Aizu's eyes, he grinned at the man before him. Just because you are fast, doesn't mean that I can't follow you. Struggling with his sword against the sword in Raiho's hand, Aizu responded, you may be able to follow me, but you need to ask yourself 2 questions. How long will you be able to follow me? And how long will that blade hold up? If you forgot, the blade I hold in my hand is one of the 4 blades of legend. Only one of those blades can withstand the strikes from this sword. Also, did you forget gifts bestowed on those with the mythical contracts? You don't have Heaven's Blade anymore, so I don't see you standing against me too long. Raiho blurred out sight and appeared a couple of feet behind Aizu. Aizu turned around slowly to face Raiho, who was thinking about what the wielder of Dragon's Claw said. Shit, he's right. Although this is a good blade, it won't last long against a sword of that caliber. Plus, the mythical contracts do grant those who have them certain gifts. I have to try and end this quickly, but I don't see that happening. Well, isn't this just the perfect situation? Either way, I have to stand my ground here and now. It's not over and I have a few tricks up my sleeve. Raiho looked at the compound and saw that the left side was still burning. I hope that Kaori and the others are doing the best that they can. Inside the compound, ninjas were everywhere. Clan members didn't have time to react and prepare a proper defense, and those who didn't were killed. Kaori was cutting down ninjas with the group she had joined. They were doing all they could to push their attackers back, but it just wasn't make any difference. It seemed like the more the cut down, the more that came. Kaori looked at Ruko, who had just joined up with her group. She looked at the boy after the last ninja in that was cut down. Where is she? She's with Shinji and he's taking her to Konoha, but if I may ask Kaori-san, why Konoha? Ruko wondered. Because, my son is there and he will make sure nothing happened to his sister. I only trust a few people with my daughter's life and he is one of them. Naruto has proved that he will not let harm come her way. That is why my husband sent her to Konoha. Naruto and Shinji will not let any harm come her way, especially Naruto. I wish Naruto was here now. I just know he could help us. Ruko said in a hopeful voice. Everyone that was gathered turned around when they heard an evil laugh. Here I thought that this was the greatest samurai clan, yet I hear you praying for the help of the golden fox. How pathetic. The fact of the matter is that these ninja beside me came here because of him. He is the reason that your precious clan is being destroyed. It's because of the sins he has caused that destruction has come your way. The clan members next to Kaori eyes went wide at the revelation. Kaori snapped and yelled at the man before her, don't you dare say that. Naruto has nothing to do with this, you came here on your own accord. He closed his eyes and smiled at her. Foolish women, did you really think that what he did in Rain and Earth Country would not come back to haunt him? Every action has a reaction and these men and women are reacting. He took something from them, now they will take something from him. Ruko looked at Kaori. Kaori-san, what is he talking about? He's playing mind games to get us to put our guard down. The fact is Naruto saved Hayami and made sure that this clan wouldn't be bullied into teaching our techniques to those unworthy to learn them. These shinobi and kaneki before us are nothing more than puppets. The real reason they are here is because they came for Heaven's Blade. Judging by their expression, you must have forgot to tell them the real reason why they are here. A kaneki turned to Kadan. What is she talking about? I thought we came here to kill those who were precious to Uzumaki. You did. However, my boss has other goals in mind. Consider it a trade-off. You get what you want and he gets what he wants. Kadan explained to the girl. She turned back to Kaori with a smile on her face. Works for me. Ruko spoke again. So, the whole reason for this attack is because of the blade. Kaori didn't respond. She was thinking to herself, did Raiho know this would happen? Now I know why he has been acting strange for weeks and suddenly wanted Naruto to take the trials. She responded to Ruko's question, yes. I don't know who your boss is, but he will not get his hands on the blade. Kadan laughed at her again. You really think he can be stopped? The boss always gets what he wants. It doesn't matter, you will die here. Oh, and don't worry about your daughter and her big brother, they will be joining you shortly. She gripped her sword as tight as she could and spoke as softly as she could, while maintaining a menacing tone. You will not do anything to my children. She charged at him and swung at his head. He dodged her sword by jumping up through the hole in the roof. She quickly followed. Both were now on the roof, staring each other down. Her long lavender hair blew in the wind. With the flames dancing in the background, the full moon and millions of stars decorating the night sky, the stage was set. You will not hurt my family. Foolish women, it is out of your hands. An elite team is following your daughter and they will probably intercept her before she makes it to her big brother. She will die. As for your son, as you say, his time will come in 6 months. Your family will die. There is nothing you can do. She shook her head. You are wrong. Your group may have reduced our numbers, and everyone in this house might fall, but as long as there is a breath in Naruto's body, you can believe that at least one Manashi will survive. Why do you place so much faith in him? Do you really think that he will miraculously show up and save your daughter? He has no clue to what is transpiring here, and by the time he finds out, you all will be dead. You have no future, no one associated to this clan does. He calmly stated. She didn't know how she knew, but she knew that she was out of her league, but she readied herself for battle. She launched herself at the man and let off a flurry of attacks, with these going thoughts. Naruto, I never told you that I loved you, and any mother would be lucky to have you as a son. I know I'm not your real mother, but the way I feel, it doesn't matter, because I feel like I am. Kadan was dodging blow after blow with the greatest of ease. As she kept swinging, her thoughts continued. You showed me the true meaning of strength, and that a person who went through hell like you did can still turn out to be beautiful soul. She made horizontal slash, but he dodged it. Before she knew what happened, a foot was placed in her face. The kick sent her flying and crashing down onto the roof they were on. She slowly picked herself up and faced the enemy that stood before her. I don't know if I will be able to win here, but I will fight, not for my sake but for yours. Just as you did for my daughter, just as you did for me, just as you did for the clan. I will fight. My dream is for my daughter to grow up and live a long and fruitful life. It has been my dream when I laid eyes on her for the first time. When she was kidnapped, I thought I was robbed of that dream, but you kept that dream alive for me. Your action warranted my daughter calling you brother, because in fact you did what a brother would have done, what a son would have done. Now I'm doing what a mother must do. I know you can protect yourself, but I will not let this man and his group kill my first dream, nor my second. I want my son to be happy, because you have been through so much pain. I hope all of your pain goes away in due time. I apologize for what you might find when you get here in the morning. I never wanted to hurt you. Know that I loved you and I always will. Take care of you, sister, and make both of my dreams come true. Kaori's eyes went wide as she felt a kunai jam itself into her stomach. She could feel the blood slowly leaking out. When Kadan ripped the knife from her stomach, she fell. Kadan was joined by the group who was with him inside the compound. The girl looked at Kaori, who was still breathing. We are done here, sir. Do you want me to kill her or what? He looked at Kaori. No, I want her to watch her clan fall from where she is at. Her wound is too deep and she will die anyway. I want you to continue the extermination and finish off any clan members you find. Kadan looked at Kaori. You should consider yourself lucky you are still alive, for how brief it may be. With the rest of the group, Kadan vanished off of the roof, leaving Kaori by herself. From her spot she could see Raiho battling. From what she could see, he wasn't faring too well either. A tear fell down her eye. I'm sorry Raiho, I tried. 10:30 p.m. on a boat heading to Sea Country. Naruto and Yumi were on the deck looking at the beautiful night sky. I can't wait till we arrive. This feels like the longest hour ever. Yumi said. Naruto spoke, don't worry Yumi. I'm sure that if you turn to your right you will see a big mountain that stands out from the rest. Yumi did as he said, but her eyes expanded at what she saw. Oh my god, a fire. Naruto turned around and looked in the direction she was looking in. Naruto's eyes went wide as well. The only thing he could say in his shock state was, oh no. To be concluded. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.